INFJs are called the rarest personality type. But what if that title isn't a badge of honor? What if it's their biggest curse? Think about it. When's the last time you heard someone say, "Wow, being a unicorn must be so fun"? Spoiler, unicorns don't exist. And INFJs, they're real humans with real struggles buried under this glittery rare label. Today we're dissecting why this title feels like a backhanded compliment and why INFJs would rather be called complicated than special. If you've ever felt like a misunderstood alien at a human party, this video is your therapy session. Chapter 1. The irony of being special. Let's start with a paradox. Society loves rarity, diamonds, limited editions, INFJs. But here's the truth. When you're called rare, you're not being seen. You're being commodified. Imagine spending your life screaming into a void, "I'm not a lab experiment," while people poke you with questions like, "Do you really feel emotions deeper?" Or, "Are you psychic?" No, Brenda, they're not psychic. They're just exhausted from pretending to care about your kombucha obsession. The rare label reduces INFJs to a party trick, not a person. And deep down, they're screaming, "I just want to be normal." Chapter 2. The burden of unrealistic expectations. Rarity equals expectations. INFJs are told they're born to change the world. But here's the problem. Changing the world is exhausting. And what if you just want to take a nap? Let's get real. INFJs have this internal monologue that sounds like a motivational speaker on steroids. You must heal everyone. You must solve world hunger by Tuesday. But when you're drowning in self-imposed pressure, even brushing your teeth feels like a moral failure. Studies show 76% of INFJs suffer imposter syndrome, convinced they're wasting their potential. Potential for what? Who decided INFJs owe the universe their sanity? Newsflash. You're allowed to be ordinary. You're allowed to binge Netflix instead of writing a manifesto. You're allowed to exist without a cape. Chapter 3. Isolation in a world that doesn't get them. Rarity means loneliness. INFJs crave deep connections, but how do you find your tribe when your tribe is statistically extinct? Imagine being the only person at a concert who hears a different song. Everyone's vibing to pop hits, but you're stuck with an orchestra of existential dread in your head. And when you try to explain it, blank stares. One INFJ told me, "I've never met another INFJ. Sometimes I wonder if I'm just making myself up." That's the tragedy. When your authenticity feels like a delusion, you start gaslighting yourself. Maybe I'm just overthinking. Spoiler, you're not. The world's just allergic to depth. Chapter 4. The Chosen One Complex. Society loves the chosen one narrative, but INFJs aren't fictional heroes, they're human. And humans need to eat pizza and binge Netflix sometimes. The pressure to be enlightened 24/7 is suffocating. Imagine being told you're the messiah of personality types, only to cry because your coffee order was wrong. INFJs aren't Zen masters. They're overthinkers with a PhD in awkward silences. They have meltdowns, ghost their friends, and accidentally send "I hate you" texts to their boss. But the rare label erases their humanity. It's like saying, "You're special, now never make a mistake again." Cool, no pressure. Chapter 5. Being reduced to a quirky statistic. When you're called rare, you become a curiosity, not a person. Ooh, tell me about your intuition. Can you read my mind? No, Karen, they can't. They're just trying to order coffee without panicking. INFJs aren't mystical creatures. They're introverts with a Spotify playlist titled "Songs to Cry to While Overthinking." But the rare label turns them into a sideshow act. It's like being a zoo animal. People gawk at your depth, but no one asks how you're actually doing. Spoiler, terrible. They're doing terrible. Chapter 6. The pressure to stay mysterious. INFJs are told they're mysterious, but mystery is a prison. Imagine having to perform depth instead of just being. Why are you so quiet? Why are you so loud? INFJs aren't enigmatic, they're just picky about who sees their chaos. But the rare label forces them to hide. They become walking contradictions, craving connection but terrified of being too much. So they lock their true selves in a vault, throw away the key and smile while screaming internally. Authenticity becomes a luxury when everyone expects you to be a walking enigma. Chapter 7. Invitation for toxic relationships. Here's the dark truth. The rarest label is a bait for predators. Narcissists see INFJs as a trophy. If I can break the unbreakable, I'm powerful. INFJs attract energy vampires because their empathy is mistaken for weakness. But here's the plot twist. INFJs always see the red flags. They just ignore them to fix people. It's like adopting a feral raccoon and hoping it'll become a therapy pet. Newsflash, raccoons bite. And narcissists, they drain your soul. But INFJs think, maybe if I love them harder. Spoiler, you can't love someone into being less toxic. Chapter 8. The fear of being too much. INFJs are told their depth is too much, too emotional, too idealistic, too sensitive. So they start apologizing for existing. Sorry I care about climate change. Sorry I noticed you're lying. They shrink themselves to fit into a world that hates nuance. But here's the secret. The world needs too much. Without INFJs, who'd call out the bullshit? Who'd fight for justice? Who'd remind us that love isn't a transaction? So to every INFJ watching, your too much is exactly enough. Burn the box. Chapter 9. The identity crisis of a social chameleon. INFJs adapt to survive, but when you're called rare, you wonder, is my real self even likable? Chameleons blend in until they forget their true color. Sound familiar? You're the punk at a family dinner, the corporate drone at brunch, the hippie in a boardroom, but who are you alone? The rare label amplifies the fear that your raw, unfiltered self is unlovable. So you keep performing, hoping one day you'll stumble into a role that feels like home. But home isn't a role, it's the messy, quiet truth underneath. Chapter 10. The burnout of emotional labor. Rare equals free therapist. Ever notice how everyone unloads their trauma on INFJs, but ghosts them when they need help? It's like being a walking crisis hotline, except no one donates to keep you running. INFJs become emotional dumpsters, collecting everyone's trash until they're overflowing. And the worst part, they feel guilty for saying no. But what if they need me? Newsflash, you're not responsible for fixing grown adults. Tired of being used? Try our new product, Boundaries. Side effects include guilt, but freedom. Results may vary. Batteries not included. Chapter 11. Reclaiming their narrative. So how do INFJs escape the rare trap? Step 1. Stop romanticizing your pain. Trauma isn't a personality trait. Step 2. Embrace your messy humanity. You're not a unicorn. You're a human with a superpower, seeing the world as it could be. Now go build it, one boundary, one honest conversation, one unapologetic meltdown at a time. Burn the rare label, replace it with real. And remember, you don't owe the world your magic. You owe yourself peace. INFJs, if you're done with the label, let's start a revolution in the comments. Share this with someone who thinks rare means easy to exploit. And remember, you're not 1.5%, you're 100% human. Now go eat some pizza